quality care, affordability of quality care, and personal responsibility for your own health and the quality of your life. It gives you personal control over decisions that impact your health and your care. Those are things you have to do. And lately, that's been some real hot topic areas because of Obamacare. Today, we're going to talk about some of the political implications of Obamacare becoming the law of the land with our very special guest calling in from Texas, Lieutenant Colonel Allen West. Colonel, welcome.
Hey, thanks. How are you doing? And it's great to be able to chat with you, Ron.
Thank you very much, sir. Lieutenant Colonel West, retired U.S. Army, received his bachelor's degree from the University of Tennessee, master's degree from Kansas State University, both in political science. He holds a Master of Military Arts and Sciences from the U.S. Army Command and General Staff Officer College in Political Theory and Military Operations. Colonel West is highly decorated, receiving a Bronze Star, 3 Meritorious Service Medals, 3 Army Commendations, one with Valor, Valorous Unit Award. One of his greatest battles, however, lies ahead as he is planning and running for Congress for the House of Representatives against liberal Ron Klein in District 22. Colonel West, I talked about some major concerns, issues regarding health care, the availability of costs, the control of our own destinies, etc. Are those concerns that we really, are kind of on the table now because Obamacare seems to have stepped in and put the government between us and our doctor?
Well, they should be of concern to every American, especially the people down in Congressional District 22 and indeed South Florida, because of the retirement community, the retiring community that we have down there. One of the things that this government failed to do was really take a systems approach to looking at health care and looking at what are the factors that are driving up the cost of health care. I mean, we have a good health care system, and I think most of the polls show that anywhere between 70 to 80% of Americans were pleased with their plans. But, the number kept changing between 45 million, 47 million, 30 million that, they wanted to provide coverage to. And what they did was a radical change of the healthcare industry so that now the government has a huge say-so in this. And the effects, the ramifications, the taxes, and things of that nature are just going to make this a worse system. Instead of looking at the cost effects, such as the catastrophic litigation, which causes doctors to do what they do, the state-by-state monopolies that are set up, which puts the insurance companies in control. And so, really, Ron, when you talk about telling every American they're going to have to buy health insurance, I don't see that being as, very punitive on insurance companies.
Well, the numbers that I've heard, let me just go back to one thing you said is, and it doesn't matter whether it's 80% or I heard as high as 85% of Americans were satisfied and are satisfied with the health care they're getting. They don't look at the cost side of it, but the point I'm getting at is it appears to me that the Democrat Congress threw the baby out with the bathwater to try to affect 15% of the population that didn't have coverage. Is that a reasonable statement?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this had nothing to do with health. It had nothing to do with care. It had everything to do with, once again, nationalizing another aspect of our production. And that's the healthcare industry, just the same as, they have gone after the finance industry, the automobile industry. If the cap and trade legislation goes through, that's the energy sector. And what really is a heinous thing was when you sit and you think about the fact that they tied something that was an amendment that was totally, had no relation to healthcare with this.
You think education was a slam? They took it away from the banks, and they did it to say we're going to save you a point on your loan costs, which, by the way, may or may not be true.
It won't be.
Okay,
it won't be.
The other side being is to get the money. Let me really be cynical here. Can they tell me that to be able to get the loan, I may have to take certain what they call core courses, or certain, and I'm going to use a very terrible word, certain philosophical, political indoctrination courses, so that when I come out, I feel there's an obligation there?
Well, when you go back and you read the writings of Marx and Engels, it is about controlling education, public education. We see it happening in our high schools. It's definitely happening on our college campuses. And now through them controlling the, college loans, they will be able to, get down into the weeds and prescribe what our young men and women will be taking in their college education courses. It's if it weren't so diabolical, this is a masterful plan that they're unleashing on America.
That absolutely is. We know from watching the little children in grade school saying, Obama, Obama, and all that good stuff. You're talking about indoctrination. You could literally go to pictures under Mao in China. You could go. There are a lot of things you can go back in history under Hitler, and you can see the very same thing happening again. And it's absolutely amazing.
Well, you think about it, Ron. They're out there touting the fact that parents can keep their child on their insurance up to 26. I don't want to do that.
Well, why would you want to do that, which disables your 26-year-old immediately and makes him a ward of the state, so to speak?
Well, that's the whole point of it. See, the plan here is to get more people wedded to government, either through dependency of subsistence or through dependency by employment. The fastest growing sector of our economy right now is the government sector, the public sector.
It's the only one hiring.
It's the only one hiring. And you think about the SCHIP program, State Children's Health Insurance Program, which was meant to be to cover children, age 18 and below, that were at poverty level or below homes. Well, in January of 2011, they passed new legislation, went into law. They changed the SCHIP so that now the age of a child has been defined as 25 years of age, and the poverty level went from 32,000 to 83,000. So this has nothing to do about taking care of Americans and lowering the cost. It's all about, creating and expanding a dependency or an entitlement class. That's what I call it. And our seniors are going to suffer under this because of the 3.9% surtax on Medicare. The doctors who are going to be leaving Florida because, we're just terrible with the tort reform in our state. And then that with the fraud, I think Florida is second in the country with Medicaid fraud. So $500 billion of cuts in Medicare. You can't tell me that this is good for our senior citizens.
You can't tell me that it's not going to have to come back somewhere. That leads to one of the phrases we've heard so often, and that is that if you think, in essence, your health care is expensive today, wait until it's free. What does that mean? I'm serious, because when people suddenly find that they're getting free entitlements, you know this yourself. Here you are, you're running for House of Representatives. To my knowledge, the U.S. government, for all of the things and laws and whatever it's passed, has never unwrapped an entitlement program. But someone's got to pay for it because we can't just keep printing money. I'm not sure the general population really understands that. Can you help us clarify it?
Yeah, sure. You're looking at anywhere from about 10 to 11 new taxes that will come in to support this Obamacare. And that's the thing that will immediately start. It's not so much that the programs start. Most of the programs don't start until 2013 out to 2018. You will see, basic things like not being able to deny people pre-existing conditions, which I agree with, and making sure the insurance companies cover people. But the thing is the taxes are what's going to start killing folks right now. And in the economic situation that we have, there are three things that you don't do. You don't print more money, you don't borrow more money, you don't raise taxes. And we're doing all three of those things. And really, we have an artificial economy right now that sooner or later, we are going to go into what, some people say the double-dip recession.
Well, someone's going to have to pay the piper. Now, the piper, there are a couple of pipers out there. One of them is China, that has been our bank. The other one is some of the, let's use the money put away for Social Security in a lockbox, which is empty with this giant IOU in it. So the idea is there's going to actually have to be cash payback. People who are cashing in bonds that are finally maturing that were backed by the U.S. government. Where's the money going to come from?
Well, that's the problem. And see, first of all, you look at what they've done with Social Security, which was once in the Independent Trust Fund. They took it out, put it in a general operating account. They rated it, so now it is almost insolvent. And as you said, it's IOUs. And what they are doing right now, the government is just printing more money and they're actually devaluing our dollar in China, and some of these other people that know that and see us now as a debtor nation are trying to get us to stop doing it because they realize what we're trying to do is to short the dollar and pay them back at a dollar that's of less value. But inflation is coming. It's just around the corner.
For people that may not grasp that on an economic level, I don't care how old you are, as long as, let's say, you're over the age of 40 or 50, which in this program's audience certainly fits that bill, they remember